brother is called Callum.
My dad's dead, and I may have snogged my brother. Gonna be fine.
Aren't you just a split of your sisters?
I think it's time we had a bit of fun.
A brand new series of The Other One starts tomorrow at 9:30 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Noswetha, good evening. This is BBC One Wales with the early evening news now, presented by Sophie Raworth in London and Lucy Owen in Cardiff. It's 6 o'clock.
At 6, turbulent times ahead as the pressure on the UK's economy intensifies. With inflation now expected to hit 10% by the end of the year, the Bank of England raises interest rates to 1% and says they could rise again very soon.
We will have to come back in about 6 weeks' time and reassess all the evidence again. And because the situation is so unprecedented, that reassessment is particularly important because we're dealing with things that haven't been seen before.
And there are now warnings of a possible risk of recession. It comes as the energy giant Shell announces more than £7 billion in profits in just 3 months, a record rise. Rescuing civilians trapped in eastern Ukraine. We report on the volunteers, among them a British maths teacher, who are risking their lives to save people as Russia attacks.
I'm quite scared most of the time.
COVID has caused the deaths of almost 15 million people around the world, says a report by the World Health Organization, almost 3 times the number reported. And the return of royal garden parties after COVID, but Buckingham Palace says the Queen won't be attending this year.
In Wales, 2 people admit being in charge of a dangerous dog which caused the death of 10-year-old Jack Liss. And around 450 new jobs are expected to be created at the Airbus wings plant in Flintshire.
Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. Interest rates have risen to the highest level in 13 years as the Bank of England tries to curb soaring price rises. Rates have gone up for the 4th time since December, from 0.75% to 1%. Inflation, the rate at which prices are increasing, is also expected to hit more than 10% by the end of the year, the highest level for 40 years. It's being driven by rising fuel, energy and food costs, partly due to the war in Ukraine. And there's more bad news. The economy was predicted to grow next year by more than 1%. Now the Bank of England expects it to shrink by 0.25%, amid warnings of a real risk now of recession. Our economics editor Faisal Islam has the details.
Butter seems to be the biggest price increase